have to get my monitor set up. That's kind of funny. Maybe I can do it. Well, that's unfortunate. Wow, it's like piercingly quiet. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Morning Medley number 201. Wow. Officially in the 200s. Here's to another 100. Jesus. I gotta do the math. I mean, I don't want anybody to do it for me, but I do need to do the math on, like, exactly how many weeks is a 100 streams. I mean, it's 20 weeks, but I want to know what that looks like on a calendar, like blocked out. How long have you had hiccups, Ava? Oh, good morning, Lavender Bloom. Good morning, Cyber. Good morning, Jesse. Good morning, Isidora. Good morning, Cyber. And good morning, Ava. wildfire tornadoes. We were talking about over the weekend or on the internet. All I've really done this weekend was work, Cyber, so I didn't see anything. Um, didn't really leave my apartment, and I wasn't really on the internet much either. So, no, I didn't see anything. started the stream. It's getting warm in here. Hey Dar. Dar made it. Lindsay made it. Kiwi made it. Guys, it is Monday. It is 2:01. LA has been in a heat wave, so I didn't really get much done this weekend. I feel like the combination of like quarantine and mosquitoes and a heat wave has made it so that like my world has shrunk gradually a little bit more every few. Oh, thanks, Lindsay. Shrunk gradually a little bit more every few days, and now it's honestly to the point where like my field of movement is like my bed and my. No, I don't even sit at my work desk anymore. I sit at like a little stool kind of next to it. I kind of everything that I do, working out, eating, sleeping, playing games, watching videos, something on TV, it all is happening in this space. I don't even go into the living room really anymore, guys. My world is extremely small now, which has made the days feel even shorter, right? Because I don't even have my blinds open that much. Like, I mean, it's a little cloudy this morning, so I thought I'd open them to go ahead and give it a shot. But it's like not humid, but it's like LA humid outside. So opening the windows isn't exactly helping anything. It's not even really helping airflow because for whatever reason it's not very windy lately. Dar says you work out in your room. Sounds cramped. Does it? Why, Dar? Why does that sound cramped? It's okay. It's okay, Kiwi. Okay, what happened this weekend? I guess I can talk about Friday. Friday's production stream was pretty good. Now, here's what happened. After I did the production stream, Dar says, I feel like I need a lot of space to move around to work out. Not even particularly because I work out very hard. I just need it, I don't know. I mean, whatever you need, right? I only need this. I only need... If I can have like a wingspan, then I can work out. And honestly, very few of my workouts really require me to do this anyway. And my room is big enough for me to do this in, so I have enough space to work out in here. But I feel you. I mean, whatever environment works best for you, Dar. Whatever environment works best for you to be able to work out is the best environment, right? For me, I just need a ventilated area, that I can fit inside of. Okay. So I took off the headphones on Friday after the production stream, and something I kind of knew already that I'm like relearning gradually is that those headphones I use have like no bass in them. And when I say they have no bass, I mean they have no bass in them at all. They are not bassy headphones. They're headphones that are meant to cut out low-end frequencies, if anything, to kind of to get a more crisp, clear response. Now, some of this is going to make a lot of sense to people on the stream. Some of what I'm saying is going to sound just like whatever technical sound jargon, so I'm going to try to laymanize it as much as possible. When working with music or sound in general, not just music, any type of sound, there's frequency range, right? Low frequencies to high frequencies. Typically, high frequencies are when things are really clear. Like mid to high is like clear. That's where you're getting a lot of the clarity of sound. If you think about sounds you can hear really crisp, maybe a person talking usually happens to the mid to high. There's a lot of mid to high frequencies in somebody talking. Even if I play the piano, like if I play the intro to Winter Heart up here. You can hear it very clearly. I'll play it a little bit lower. You can hear it super clearly. A little bit lower. of get a little muddy right towards the bottom, and then if I play it at the very low end of the piano. Now the reason that just sounds so jumbled and unclear down there is because those are lower frequencies. Lower frequencies, think of them as being wider. Oh man, I'm trying my best here, guys, with this analogy. No, they are not reference headphones, Jesse. Think of them as being wider. As them being wider, each individual frequency, so they're like overlapping on each other. Whereas in the higher ones, they're a little bit skinnier frequencies. They're not overlapping as much, and so you can get a little bit more clarity. The headphones that I have are meant specifically for vocals. They're podcast headphones. So the low end frequency for those of the people like. I just want to say for this conversation, for people that make music, you can kind of just tune me out for the next 5 minutes. I'm more so explaining this to people that don't make music. But if I record something like I'm working on music, these headphones have a specific type of headphone that will cut out low end frequencies. So if somebody has like a really gravelly voice, it'll kind of cut out some of the lower end gravel, like nastiness of their voice, and it'll just get that kind of crisp mid to high. However, if I'm making music and I have like deeper bass sounds or kick drums or something like that, those headphones are going to cut it out a lot. They're like EQing or equalizing it out, so they can focus more on the headphones can focus more on the mid to high range. And this is very, very useful, again, when you're listening to people talk, or maybe if I were talking in a really loud environment, it's going to more so pick up the mid to highs and not that low end stuff. It's also very useful when playing video games, like gamer headsets sometimes can do this, but again, when making music, it's not very useful because sometimes you want to be able to hear the bass, right? So when I'm making music on the production streams, what I'm naturally doing is if I'm writing a bass line and I can't hear it, I'm like beefing up the bass line, or I'm turning it higher and higher and higher and boosting the low end of it so I can just hear it while I'm working on music. And then, of course, after the production stream is over and we've been working on music for 6 hours, I'll take off my headphones and I'll turn on the speakers, and it just sounds like an earthquake that's coming out of my monitors. It's nothing but low end because I have overcompensated for the lack of low end in the headphones. So, after the production stream on Friday, I spent a good 30 to 45 minutes just fixing dropout, just fixing the EQ nightmare that dropout had become. And now it sounds a little bit clearer in the headphones. I did some gain staging, just a lot of stuff that would have been boring if I did it on stream. So I did a lot of that. And then we did the pizza party, which I'll talk about a little bit more later. And then I went grocery shopping and smashed my finger pretty bad, my index finger. And even today, in playing the morning medley, it was causing me. I mean, you all have done it. You smash your finger. It doesn't have any visible bruising or whatever, but just the nail is like very sensitive. So any type of pressure, or like pressing down on notes, it just causes, I would say, mild to severe. No, that's a range. Mild to medium discomfort, which isn't so bad if I'm just like pressing one key, but when like playing more like complex arrangements, it can build up really quickly. Like I could not play not Winter Heart. I could not play Flight Plan right now because just that like repetitive. Anyways, point is, my finger is currently injured. But I did it on Friday, so I was kind of thinking that it would be healed up by today, but it is not. I'm still in pain, so probably won't be the wildest medleys for the next, I don't know, until that baby heals back up. Back to Friday pizza party. Thank you everybody who was able to make it. Apologies to everybody who couldn't make it due to like time constraints. I understand it's like the Earth is big. We all live in different time zones. It was ideal for people on the West Coast. It was decent for people on the East Coast, and anybody like outside of the country, it was a little bit rough trying to make it in. So we just want to apologize for that. If there was just a way that I could get us all on Universal Time Zone or something, that would be great, but I can't, so I'm doing the best I can. Yeah, Izzy, there is a pizza party for the 200 stream. Um, uh, I couldn't actually figure out where you linked it says Umbe. Oh, I'm sorry, Umbe. It was in my Instagram story. It was also on my line timeline, but I know a lot of people don't check that. Um, but anywho, it was decent. It was decent. I had Blaze. I had Blaze pizza, which was okay, which is all right. Um, yeah, it was all right. All things considered, the pizza party went really well. Just a couple of notes. There is no current. There is no current schedule to the pizza party. You know, I'll schedule another one when I feel like it. Then maybe we can get some type of schedule so that people know when to expect them. But for right now, not really discussing a schedule or a regular reoccurring pizza party. But it was really good, and I'm pleased with it. Um, I told my best friend about the pizza party yesterday, and she immediately watched Three Ninjas and made the same comments. Oh my god, why did she? Why did she subject herself to that? I don't know if I would have watched it alone. If I'm being honest, I wouldn't have watched that movie alone. I think because it was part of the pizza party, it was more fun to watch it. Um, the type of person that I am, I do enjoy if it's going to be a group activity and the movie isn't going to be taken super seriously. I prefer for the movie to be old. I know that specifically suggesting old movies can sometimes be a landmine of maybe jokes that didn't age well or some pretty rampant like racism or sexism or any kind of isms are going to be sprinkled throughout the movies. But I mean, we all know what we're doing. We all know what we're watching. Everybody was a pretty good sport. We were like, okay, this movie came out the years that it came out, so everybody was pretty good about it. So I appreciate that. I think as far as my sense of humor goes, especially to movies, I can I can look at an old movie that doesn't age well and actually enjoy it. And I mean that I don't know if that's something wrong with me, and I'm not gonna try to push that on anybody else, right? I can look at an old movie like an old movie that has something as um, overtly offensive as like blackface in it, and I can actually like be okay because it's not modern. You know, I can look at old movies that are offensive, be okay. But for the people that can't do that, I am doing my best to try to pick movies that aren't overtly offensive. I mean, you're gonna see something, right? It's the 80s and 90s weren't really, you know, you've seen these movies, at least some of them, I hope. Um, Anywho, the movie was decent. It was a movie that I actually think I've never seen before. I think my entire experience with or exposure to the Three Ninjas movies have been sequels actually of the original. I've never actually seen Three Ninjas, the first movie. So that was fun. That was fun for me to kind of see a completely new movie. Uh, the chat wasn't bad. I'm glad the chat wasn't bad. However, if we are going to continue, I didn't want to do this, but if we are going to continue to do a post movie talk, there has to be some type of, I don't know what it is, but I'm saying it now. There has to be some type of organization so it isn't just people yelling. And also, everybody, please get headphones. I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head who it was that didn't have headphones, but somebody didn't have headphones, and there was a lot of echo. And so, um, just something to keep in mind. Oh, Cyber's just ratting out Alpha. Yeah. Just a heads up. I actually didn't know. I actually honestly didn't know who it was. But I mean that's my bad. That's my bad because since nobody really has faces, well, so few people have faces to me. Most of the people in the stream don't have faces, and so when I went into the voice chat and random people were just talking, I recognized Cyber's voice. I know what Lindsay's voice sounds like, and I know what Kiwi's voice sounds like. Everybody else was just could have been anybody. I have no idea. So, um, oh, yeah, what's Alpha's here? Yeah, so just a heads up, if there is a future, if there's a future movie night, there probably will be in all actuality. All you need to bring is pizza. Pizza's optional, actually. All you need to bring is headphones. Pizza would be great. Headphones. You actually don't need headphones unless you're going to be in the voice chat. In the voice chat, I think I am going to enforce a headphone, required. I don't know, rule or something. Anywho, we're using Rave. No, I was using Doo Doo Doo. Anyways, point is, it went okay. Thank you for everybody that was able to participate. And once I decide we're going to do another one, I have so much work to do, but once I decide we're going to do another one, I will start talking about it in the morning medleys again. And then we can brainstorm and come up with a movie. I worked pretty well. I was able to output it to my TV and show my phone. Oh, that's actually really interesting, Cyber. Maybe I should figure out a way to do that. So I could like watch it in like the comfort of my living room, like on my nice TV. But yeah, I think I'll do a brainstorm in the stream. The few things, and this might be upsetting to people in the stream, maybe that want to make more active or have more of a say in the movie night. This is preceded with apologies. I'm sorry if this is upsetting or if it makes you no longer want to participate in the movie night, the pizza party. But I know we're all adults here. We're all adults. And you guys know that I watch, well, if you don't, I watch like some pretty messed up movies. And when I say messed up, I just mean like mature content. Like sometimes they're extremely vulgar, sometimes they're very, very gory, very violent, or just generally downers, like a downer film. I am not going to do those for the pizza party. Or it's a pizza party. The only reason I'm even doing it is because I'm just trying to have a good time and enjoy myself with you guys. I don't want to watch like Old Boy. For those of you that have seen Old Boy, and you know I love Old Boy. I love that movie. That is not the movie I want to watch, guys. That's not. We're not doing like super downer, depressing, violent, like vulgar films. I would prefer if they're going to be violent, which is cool. Again, it's me. You guys know I love these movies. I love the violent movies. If it is going to be violent, I prefer that it be older, like Die Hard violence or like Delta Force violence or like Rambo violence, because something about looking at those movies retrospectively makes them cheesy, like inherently cheesy. I would prefer those if we're going to do a pizza party. I don't want to watch anything that's going to make us like bummed out, you know? Sorry, I'm not trying to like take the fangs out of pizza party night. I'm not trying to censor whatever you guys' tastes are. But when we're doing the brainstorm, if somebody's like, let's watch Get Out or something, I'm going to say no. And it does not mean that I don't want to see those movies or that I don't like those movies. It just means I don't want to have them be the subject of a pizza party. Hopefully that makes sense and you guys can understand that. Oh, hey, Alaska. Maybe we should watch do an actual poll next time. Oh. Here's the thing, Liana. If we're talking action movies, does Bloodsport count? Bloodsport counts. Yeah. You gotta pick a basket. Instead of me saying something dumb and you agreeing. Okay, so the thing is, yes, I know, Liana, that you saying something dumb and me agreeing sounds like a monarchy, right? It puts me in this position of like, I'm king and we watch whatever I like, which is horrible, right? I mean, that's not fair. That doesn't sound like a party. I do like the idea of a poll. So, democracy, dope. However, I have to want to see all of the movies that are on the poll, which does sound like a monarchy, and I'm sorry about that. Basically, I am not going to approve a system in which one of the movies is something I don't want to see. I have to want to see all the movies, and I know that maybe that's not fair, and I do apologize. The only reason when somebody suggests a poll, the reason that I get uncomfortable is because I don't want anything to be on the ballot that I don't want to watch, because then I'm not going to watch it. Oh boy. Yeah. I know. It's a Snowpiercer is an amazing movie. That I love. Um, that I also don't necessarily want to be a pizza party movie. This is gonna get gray. It's not just black and white, right? So don't feel bad for suggesting something that gets turned down. And I know it's like maybe some things that are like violent or like have a very strong, pertinent, like poignant social message, societal message. Like maybe that can be a good thing. But I do just want to have a good time. It's not the dopest time. It's not the dopest time. I think you guys can agree with that. And I think it's fun to look at Three Ninjas and see like, oh, this is horrible because like there's a lot of like weird racial inaccuracies here. I mean, we can think of. I should have taken a screenshot. I should have screen capped that Japanese food in the opening scene. But there's like some really messed up Japanese food that they're eating. This is fun. There's like a guy in a turban for whatever reason. I don't even remember what that guy. He didn't have a turban on actually. He was Middle Eastern though, or he wasn't. He was a white guy with makeup on that was portraying an undercover. That whole scene actually could have been deleted. The point is, there's a lot of like, there's a lot of offensive stuff in it, but it's like goofy. So I don't think, hopefully, anybody is offended. I wasn't offended by the hilariously minimized role of that black guy, who's like actually like a pretty. Anyways, whatever. You get the point. Movies that I don't think will be a good time will be turned down, and that does not mean I don't like the movie. I have a good time watching Old Boy. I would not have a good time watching Old Boy at a pizza party. Yeah, that dude's amazing. There's a specific movie that I'm thinking of him in that was not Rush Hour, that I was like, that he like won my heart in, and I can't think of what movie it was. He's so good. He's so good. Anyways, next Friday. Yeah. I think it was next Friday, actually. He's just like a smooth talker. And even the way he was delivering his lines in Three Ninjas was like, that's him, yes. More of him, please. But yeah, they wouldn't give us any more. But to be completely fair to Three Ninjas, that there was way too many characters in that movie. There wasn't really space for him. If they put more of the black cop in Three Ninjas, they would have had to minimize somebody else's already very small role, and or just completely remove somebody. Actually, I think they could have removed. This isn't the post discussion. We already had that. Oh crap! I'm sorry. I didn't see what Leanna said, Leon. Maybe you can vet the suggestions and then we vote on that. Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. I think if we're going to have a poll of like 3 movies, or even as small as 2 movies, it doesn't mean to be a big poll. But if we're going to, and also the pizza party is very small, so the votes are like, it's not like the biggest pot. I could open it up to the public, but that wouldn't be very fair, would it? If they're not actually going to be at the pizza party. Yeah, Cyber. The nephew honestly could have been one dude. He didn't need partners, in my opinion. Also, the nephew dude didn't need to exist since their entire sorry. Sorry. This is not the post Three Ninjas discussion. That's not what this is. But they don't do anything. They don't even find the kids. They're actually given the address for the kids. So the big bad guys already have the address, and they have limitless goons, or I'm sorry, they have limitless ninjas at their disposal. So it seems like they could have just sent ninjas to get the dudes, They could have just sent ninjas, henchmen, goons to get the little boys. They didn't need to hire three surfer, just random criminals that I guess rob 7-Elevens in their free time to go get the boys. They had more manpower and firepower. The surfers had like revolvers each, but they have like ninjas with like AK-47s that I assume would be able to do the job a little bit more discreetly. They wouldn't have had to have like, because they basically rob a pizza man. The surfers rob a pizza guy, and essentially making more loose ends. The ninjas could have gone in that are already masked. Like, one could make the argument like, how did they get in the building then? It's like they have AKs and stuff like that. The only person between them and the boys was like some old woman. Point is, they could have ridden out the surfer dudes completely and then had more of a black cop guy. But I think if they write out the surfers completely, that movie is like 30 whole minutes shorter, and it loses some of its like, this is definitely 80s 90s, because like those whatever. Anyways, this is not the post discussion. We have post discussion already for the movie, and I would say if we are going to continue to do the voice chat, people are going to be mad. People love yelling. People love yelling into voids. But I'm going to say there needs to be more organization. Whether it's somebody's got the podium, whether it's I have to write a list of names down and somebody has to give what their closing comments on the movie was and like a question about the movie. I will come up. I'm a very organized person. I will come up with a template of how we're going to do this, but it can't just be 12 people yelling. I know the echo made it even worse. Maybe if there was no echo, it wouldn't have been as bad. But it can't be that. It can't be that. And trust me, if I am in charge and I organize things, we'll all be happier in the end. Oh. Echoes will contribute to the chaos, which if we have headphones, I think it'll be fine. Yeah. It did contribute to the chaos. You're probably right. Both of you. You're probably both right. Alpha wants to know who's gonna get them headphones. Headphones are pretty cheap. You can actually get headphones for like $10. Alpha, I produced Nice Dream, Love Dream, Speed Dream, and Tall Tales on CVS headphones. That cost it was like they were like $9.99, $8.99 or something like that. They weren't the best, but I mean we're not mixing audio. I was mixing audio. We're looking at movies that, if I'm being completely honest, have really poor audio anyway. Like Three Ninjas sound was not good. It wasn't good. I would have gotten the same experience by looking at it, through my phone speaker, honestly. Yes. Okay, so that being said, when we actually start talking about when the next pizza party will happen, then I will discuss how we're going to organize the voice chat afterwards. I would like for it to be an actual discussion. I think if there was 3 of us, it would be super easy. But I think the fact that there isn't just 3 of us, my brain needs there to be some type of order or method to the chaos, or else I won't like it. Okay, how people can do I don't know how people do AirPods, like those pop out after 5 minutes. I don't do AirPods. I like earbuds that hang on my ear. Oh, I mean, yeah. Get some of those then. What I was talking about, Alpha, I mean, can you still buy these? Cyber, can you still buy these? No, you can. What I was talking about was like those ones that like can't be folded at all. They just like go on your head and they have like a little felt around the circles. They're like Sony headphones. They're like cheap as heck. I was talking about those. I wasn't necessarily talking about earbuds. I don't like earbuds. I don't like things going inside of my ear unless they're blocking sound, not providing or delivering sound. My brain would appreciate that too, says Lindsay. That's why I didn't want to do the voice chat in the beginning. That's why I said I'll be in the voice chat in the very beginning, and if it ends up too chaotic, I'm just going to leave. Because, like, I know when people aren't given... I know when people, and this isn't an indictment of any one person, but I know if there's a group of people and there is no order, what always ends up happening is the people that are okay with chaos take charge and make a chaotic environment, and the people who would like order just stand back and watch the chaos happen. And it makes it so that like everybody doesn't get to participate. Only the people that are like very comfortable in chaos get to participate. But if there are rules and order, the chaotic people might be annoyed, but they'll still get, to participate. I just want everybody to be able to participate. I feel bad if like somebody comes into the chat and maybe they're shy or something, or they like don't want to overspeak. They don't want to talk over people, and they just don't get to say anything at all. So yeah, I'll probably come up with some type of order, in the future for the post movie discussion. Thank you, Cyber, in the post movie discussion for providing so much information about the movie, like our recon man. And I still don't really know what was going on with Rand Kingsley and the weird photos, and I still don't really know what that was, but that was kind of a nice little Easter egg that we ended up falling into. I don't know what that was all about. Also, anybody in the chat who was not at the pizza party, I'm going to stop talking about the pizza party now, because I realize today is not the pizza party. That was a stream ago, and I don't want to exclude anybody. But if you're somebody that wants to participate in one of those things, I will be I'll be as public and loud about when the next one happens. It is rough, however, because I'm not active on Twitter right now. I'm taking a very much needed, and who knows how long, break from Twitter. So because I'm not on Twitter, there's only so many places I can post it where people will reliably see it. Instagram stories being one of the things. And so, yeah, I apologize for that, guys. I don't want to be on Twitter right now. It's like it's not it. So, when we talk about when the next one happens, it'll be posted on Instagram. I think I can look into Doodadoo's options and see what allows the owner of the channel to do in terms of controlling audio levels and muting stuff. Yeah, I was trying to do that, figure that out on the fly, Cyber. I was like looking at the mute and like going into settings, but it was just like, I was like, I don't want to deal with this right now. I already like accidentally had like, I don't know, like in the beginning of the movie, like the cat, like it was like reading what was happening. I guess for the sight impaired, right? That's what that's for, I'm pretty sure. Anyways, I really think headphones will solve the bulk of the problem, says Lindsay. Word up, Twitter makes me really bad. I returned a couple of weeks ago and I remember how toxic it is. Yeah, Isidora. Without getting too, I did not catch Lovecraft County. Although living in Los Angeles, you are drowning in ads for Lovecraft County, like Lovecraft Country or whatever. It's like on bus stops, it's on billboards, it's on restaurant windows, it's in the local paper. It's like everywhere I go, I can't not hear about it. But I did not watch it last night. Was this on Discord? This was not on Discord, Jesse. It was on a completely separate thing called Toot-to-Doo. What was I going to say? I was going to say something semi-important. Blah, blah, headphones, blah, blah, sight impaired, movies. Twitter makes... Oh, so without getting too transparent, I did leave Twitter. It wasn't actually a choice for me to leave Twitter. I know a lot of people, thanks Isidore for reminding me. It wasn't actually a choice. It wasn't like I woke up one day and I was like, I'm off Twitter. Twitter's bad for me. I think it was more gradual. I went back to, I was on Twitter and I was like thinking about posting a video after I ended quarantine. So I was like, I should make like a video or something like that. And then I just kept not making it. And then I went back to Twitter and looked at when my last tweet was. And I was like, oh, I haven't tweeted in like 2 weeks. Yikes. And then 2 weeks turned into 3, it turned into a month, it turned into 2 months. And so now I'm just, it's like when you don't drink soda for a really long time and then you like miss the you don't even crave soda anymore, but you feel kind of bad because you're like, well then when will I have soda again? I did thoroughly enjoy soda, but now I don't want it. But it feels disingenuous to drink soda when I don't want it just because I haven't had it in a long time. And so now I'm just in this really weird place with Twitter where I like log on and I see a lot of stuff I don't care about, and then I log out. Or even, which is more like frightening, is like I'll have my phone in my hand and I'll look at my thumb like through muscle memory, like scroll to the Twitter app and then open it. Because I don't have apps like on my homepage for whatever reason. The clutter bothers me. So my homepage is just a black screen. I don't even have like a background image of like, I don't know what people's background images are. I don't know, their baby or something like that. I don't have like a wallpaper for my phone. My phone, when I turn it on, is just a black screen with the time. And like my thumb through muscle memory like scrolls through apps and like opens Twitter, and then like Twitter opens up on the screen, and I'm like, wait, what am I doing? Like, and then I close it immediately. I don't even scroll. I like have this weird loop where I'll open Twitter and close Twitter like maybe 5 to 10 times a day. Anyways, Instagram is going to be Instagram stories rather, because I don't even make posts on Instagram anymore. Instagram stories are going to be the only way that I can get like pizza party news to you guys or stream news and stuff like that. I don't really use Twitter a lot as it is, says Chica Lucy. Last time was I had a link for an animation app. I'm still waking up. IG, my sentences are not cohesive at the moment. Word up. It's okay, GB. I like Twitter. It's shovelware, and I don't have a following, so it's fun, says Alpha. I think even if I didn't have a following, it wouldn't be particularly fun for me right now. I don't think my following is what's making it not fun, but I hear what you're saying, Alpha. I know what you're saying. Like, you don't have you feel like you don't need to perform a specific way because there aren't a lot of people watching, so you can kind of just do whatever you want on there, which is nice. There's no pressure, is what I'm hearing from you. The bad to not tweet, upload photos, and Instagram is that the algorithm will punish and not show your content to followers, and they're pretty bad if you're an artist. Yeah. I realize that when I come back to, when I finally do come back to Twitter and post like new album, guys, I realize it's gonna get like 3 likes because no one's gonna see it, and I'm gonna look like one of those accounts that like bot followers. I saw an account like 2 weeks ago that had like 54,000 followers, and all of their tweets consistently got like 3 or 4 likes. Now that person bought a bunch of followers, but I do think that when I do finally come back, it's going to be cobwebs for me. It's going to be crickets, and so that's upsetting. But what are you gonna do, right? Algorithms. It's like when just you and your mutual friends interact, you feel like they're more genuine engagement. Word. I've been debating using Twitter more because Instagram kills the resolution of artworks, and so many people on there use Instagram and Twitter. Word. Those are kind of like the big two, at least for me they are. Is the solution then to make 3 posts at a time? Says Liana. I don't know what the solution is. The solution is to get people to care again. People have to like find it and then engage with it intentionally, not because it just magically showed up on their timeline. Like I have to say like new thing out, and then someone has to say Omni posted a new thing, and then other people go to my page and then engage with it. That's the only way, I think. Or like somebody like with an equally as large following as me like retweeting it. But I listen to Spring Street daily, says Lumi. Just want to let you know. Oh, that's really nice. Want to hear it? Want me to play it? I mean, if you listen to it daily, have you got your daily Spring Street listen in yet? Or do you want to hear it here? Word, Lindsay. Yeah, it is really funny when there's like the obvious bot followers. I guess purchased followers, not bot followers, which is a completely different but related thing. I guess I'll open my Insta and Ghost follow. Oh, that's sweet, Alpha. That's weird. I'm getting better at being able to just know where notes are. I guess practice makes better. The solution is to watch the best interaction hour. You have, yes, analytics. Watch on analytics, then put the 10 hashtags, then question so many people reply, then put a couple of photos. Who make that? Yeah, that is all the tricks. All the. Who's calling me? Ah, interesting. Who is that? Hmm. Why are they calling me? I hope it's about money. Anyways, let's see, Isadora, what's the point of it all? Says Alpha. The point of it all, Alpha, is money, so that I can pay my bills. Um, that's what the point of it all is. What reason do I need to be so into Insta like that? Oh, no, Alpha. Isadora was specifically targeting me. She was talking about me and, like, artists. Like, uh... she was talking about, like, artists whose career is, like, making art. And whose pages are career pages. Like, this is not my personal page. I don't have one, by the way. I don't have personal pages. I don't know what that feels like. Must feel weird. Did you make it through your commissions on me? I did. Oh my god. Wow. Thanks, Jesse. Thanks for asking and reminding me. I did make it through my commissions. And boy, Lindsay, the song that isn't named, the one that you like, the like, that's um that's now a piece that's I'm being commissioned for. So that's cool. I regularly call my friends. It's almost like a toxic trait, says Alpha. Word. Hashtags always feel weird to me, says Chibi Lucy. Same. Facebook bought it and ruins it. Facebook ruins everything, says Isadora. Word. Facebook is the enemy. Word. Wait, so can you not officially make a song with it, says Lindsay? I don't think I can like release it on Spotify. But if I'm being honest, Lindsay, I don't think I was ever gonna release that song on Spotify. So I don't know. I don't know. Actually, I don't know how that works. I'd have to talk to them more. Yeah, you can still hear it. I mean, I can play it here. I made it. I'll make sure of that. I can still play it here. But yeah, I don't think it was gonna be released on Spotify. But I think it was gonna end up kind of like this song. Like how long have I been playing that song? Like what, 4 or 5 years? And it doesn't really exist anywhere other than in the stream. I think I'm glad that at least this song now has a home, and that it will potentially get heard by more people than just you guys in the stream. And I won't have to like tweet like, "Hey guys, I know you like dance music for me, but listen to this boring as heck ballady piano song." Like I won't have to do that, so that's really nice. And I'll still be able to play it. Goodbye, Liana. Thank you so much for being on the stream, and I hope you have a good day at work. I hope it is cool wherever you are. I assume that it's indoors with AC. My living room has no air conditioning. Neither does my kitchen. So anytime I want to cook a meal, my kitchen gets so hot that I'm just sweating. I'm just standing in there sweating. And I mean, I know this is every year. It's every year. Cooking in the summer never feels good for me, but somehow every year it feels new. Are you doing keyboard 200, 201? I am now. So I write for completely forgotten. For some reason, I never remember that. I never remember. Ow, God, my finger. I never remember that. So 200 is an organ. To be fair, the next few are probably going to be organs because there's like a million organ sets on every Yamaha keyboard. Oh, that's a funny sounding one. It's a little bit detuned. A little detuned. It's good. It's good. It's solid. 201. As I said, also an organ. Ooh. I might like this one better though. I like think it's funny how the high notes are so quiet. It's the middle. It's like quiet. Wow, that's amazing. Is that how a real organ is? Carnival music says alpha. Word, 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 word. Yeah, the vanilla chords kind of sneak their way into most improvs now, I feel. Um, oh, right. It's a pipe instrument. Pipe, pipe, pipe. Oh, we're gonna have a little baseball stadium, says Jesse. Very cool. Or air, probably, says Chibi. Yeah, like Saiba says. Those are some tiny sounding organs. Yeah, they sound teeny. Teeny tiny. My finger really hurts, guys. What was the origin of that? No. It was like no. No, what the heck, Omni? What are you doing? There it is. Now I can only play it in that key. being in the stream, Dar. Appreciate you, and I hope my finger gets better as well. Um, Wowee, look at me. 140, we made it here. 140 being the time, not the stream. 140, we left that ages ago, yeah? I want to learn how to play this one next, says Lindsay. It's interesting that you played in Sky, which is all white keys, and boy, is this song a lot of black keys. Well, I mean, I guess the original of the song was in all white keys, right? Can't play that song. I mean, that part. That's funny. That's funny, yeah, we need black keys in Sky. It can like lead right back into itself, I guess. Needs more movement. It needs work, but I'll mess with it more. Maybe tonight or tomorrow. Still kind of crap with chord knowledge. So some songs I just sung into Piano Tuner, says Lucy, or at least the melody. Or I mean, that's fine. I mean, however you can get it to work is the right way to get it to work. That's what I never say. Yeah, I think that's what I have to do. So. Maybe not that bass note, but I gotta put something else in there. No. No. Close, very close. Maybe? Maybe? Yeah, I think that's where it has to go. I don't like where that harmony ends though. Oh wait. Ooh. That's wild. Oh crap! Yeah, that's way better. What the heck? Anyways. um, Alpha says weird, but I've come to find out every time I have my phone by the microwave while it's on, it jacks up my connection to live streams. Interesting. Something that I discovered recently about, I mean, since we're talking phones, is that if I use my vocoder for my microcord when my phone is anywhere near the synthesizer, this really weird staticky. I mean, I know how interference works, but it's like this really weird staticky thing will come through just the vocoder, but not the actual synthesizer. It's really weird. Technology, right? What are you gonna do? That's pretty cool though. Be careful with that microwave though, Alpha. Maybe just that. Harmonies are so harmonies are so not my. I'm not saying they're not my strong suit, but they're just something that I very rarely do in music. Outside of like chord progressions, and I think that a lot of the reason for that is because I always think of strong melody when I think of like when I'm humming a song. You know, if it's a Katy Perry song, because Katy Perry is apparently the only pop artist I know of. If it's a Katy Perry song, or a Michael Jackson song, or a Justin Bieber song, I will be able to hum the melody, but very rarely will I be able to hum the harmony, even if the harmony is right there recorded on the piece of music. And the reason for that is I just don't hear harmony. In fact, a lot of people don't hear harmony. I'm usually very impressed when somebody can pick out, somebody that's not a musician can pick out harmonies in a song. Um, and so when I'm making music, when I'm singing something, I very rarely will sing the harmony, and a lot of times, I won't even focus on arrangement of hi K Ma, hello. I won't even focus on arrangement of harmony. The only reason that harmony, how do I get myself? The only reason that I had any type of skill with making harmonies because I play piano. Um, um, the reason for that being that making a harmony, I guess maybe for any instrument because you have a visual representation of notes. Having a visual representation of notes is very, very helpful when you're arranging music because there's a physical, spatial element to things, right? Like if I'm coming up with a melody for or the harmony for I mean the thing that I'm doing right now, which is you notice the second time that I play that melody, I go, which is sounds different, but it's just the same exact melody with a harmony on it. The melody is now just adding one note there and then adding three notes there, and instead of going, I'm doing. You're just adding one more note. It can change things. It opens things up. That's how harmony works. However, when playing piano, I already know where the natural melody for the thing is. And I can look at the spacing of those notes, and I can just mess with a harmony, which would be, you know. And now it has more harmony, in the melody. If I didn't play piano, coming up with vocal melodies, because I know people will say like, oh, that's a fifth. That's a fifth. They're doing fifth harmony. I actually would love to know why that happens. Anyways, so people will talk about like fifth harmonies or third harmonies, or harmony, second harmony. If there's such thing as a second harmony, I don't know. I'm just I'm not a music theorist, but I think that it's easy for me to choose a harmony because I have a physical representation of spacing between notes. If I'm gonna go, I can do that same thing, that same movement just up a little bit higher, and then play them together, and then you have a harmony. And so sometimes it'll just be an identical thing moved up or down, which I think is what a fifth harmony may or may not be. Again, whatever. I don't really care that much. But when writing harmonies, having physical, visual representations of where the notes are, it makes it easy to build a harmony off of that. Makes it easy to build a harmony off of that. But that is not something that I do in music because it's not something that I hear in music primarily. When I'm listening to a song and somebody is, like if I were listening to the song, since that song has the bass, the chords, and the melody all smushed together, what I'm hearing in that, I'm hearing da 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 da. I'm hearing. It's so hard to play without all the other things because I have them memorized in my head as one solid chunk of music. Oh my god. Oh, I did it. That's what I'm hearing when I hear key lime. Now, there's a lot of harmonies happening in that the lead for that, right? There's this. So if I'm just playing night, even without the bass note, there's harmonies in there, right? But when somebody wants to sing or hum key line, even myself included, I'm not going to hum the harmony. I'm not going to go. Definitely not humming that, but I know it. I'm gonna hum the other part. So, anywho, that's how my mind hears music. Even the music that I've made, I will usually pick out what I consider to be the lead melody. That's the part that I will hum. So sometimes it's hard for me to reverse engineer a harmony if the harmony isn't even my main focus. So writing harmonies for leads, which I've done in very small ways in songs, sprinkled here and there. I don't do it too often, but I've done it in small ways. And so I'm trying to put that more in music, right? Because if I keep playing this, it sounds repetitive, specifically just those two. And my brain, when I want to change something, usually I will change the chords. So I'll go like, change the chords, which is good and fun sometimes, but it can like alter the like geometry, if you'll pardon the term. It will alter like the geometry of the song. When sometimes you want to keep the geometry of the song, you just want to change it a little bit. Sometimes you want your chicken to be a little bit spicier. You don't want to eat a completely different food. You just want to be able to have the spice to make it a little bit spicier. And so doing that once through establishes the melody. The melody of this song is. So how do I play that again, spicier, without changing the melody? How do I do it without like going? Like that's changing the melody. It is making it more interesting, but it is changing the melody. If you want to have more spice added to a melody without changing it, you can add harmonies to it. Same melody again. Same melody, not changing the geometry of the song, just adding some extra spice and goodness there. And so that's something that I'm trying to get in the habit of doing now. A lot of times in music, both in the streams and in the production streams, when I wanted, well, not so much in the production streams anymore, but in production in general and in the morning medleys, when I want to change a song or make it more interesting, I will go in and I will kind of start taking out parts and adding in extra parts. A really good example of this in one of my arrangements would be probably Winter Heart's intro, right? There is no repeating chords, right, that are happening here. The chords. No repeating chords, the melody. There's no like repeating melody information either. It's just one solid stream of music that keeps descending. Keeps descending, but it doesn't repeat itself at all. And while that can be fun, and I do love the intro to Winter Heart, sometimes if you want to make something interesting, you don't necessarily need to go somewhere different. You can just change the way that it's played, adding harmonies or inversions, or, you know, changing the notes arrangement, but not changing the notes, you know. A good example of me doing that would be in Jumpin' Jaybird, Maddie's song, where the first time I play it through, I go. And the second time I play it through, I go. Same chords. And I think even for the people on the stream that aren't like career musicians or veteran musicians, you can hear that this and this are harmonically the same chord progression. Those are the same three chords. All I've done is I've moved this note up here. Those two notes are the same. Those are the same notes. So I've just taken this chord and turned it into this chord, which we talked about inversions a little bit in like a previous stream, how I could kind of keep doing that all over the keyboard, and it won't change the chord, it just changes the harmonic information, I guess. Not the harmonic information, it changes the harmonic arrangement. I could do that all the way up the piano, and it's the same chord. And so going to the melody sounds like it changes, because usually when you're voice leading, oh my goodness, the terms. Usually when you're voice leading, it means you're playing a chord progression where the melody or the lead is kind of embedded in the chord progression, right? And so if I play this, usually, and I say this a lot, usually when somebody is voice leading, the highest note in the chord progression will stick out to all of us. It kind of harkens back to what I was talking about with lower frequencies being really muddled and the higher frequencies being really clear. If a bunch of people are talking in a room and one person has a really high-pitched voice, you will hear that person. They will coast over the frequency soup that is the entire room because their voice is a lot clearer. If a lot of people are talking in a room or a bar or a club or a party and one person has a really deep voice, maybe you will be able to discern some of the frequencies, like, oh, somebody in this room has a deep voice, but you won't be able to understand what they're saying. Higher, medium to high frequencies cut through better because they're more clear. There's more clarity to them. Now, that being said, when I'm playing a bunch of notes down here, usually people will be able to pick out that note, even though I'm hitting a lot of notes. They'll be able to pick out that note because that's the highest of the notes I'm hitting. The same thing goes for a lot of voice leading. Like when you think of key lime, the common thing about every single note in the melody is it always happens to be the highest note that I'm playing at the time. Highest note. Highest note. Highest note. Highest note. Highest note. So the reason that I've explained why we usually pick out the highest note as being the melody, and so there are a lot of ways you can use this to your advantage when you're making music. For example, inverting a chord progression can change the melody. Like these chords, these two chords, and these ones, like those two chord progressions, you can hear in their guts that they are the same. Because you can hear that, but the highest note is changing. In the first run through that I play of it, this is the chord progression. So we're hearing a descending melody. Da, da, da. And that's just because that's the highest note of the chord progression. Highest note of the chord progression. But if I play this version, it almost sounds like the melody isn't changing. It's just one note. And there are notes moving around, right? In here, obviously, but the highest note is not changing. Now, if I take out that high note, you can hear the movement that is happening in the song. Descending note, but just putting that one repeating note on the top of it changes the melody. And And the reason it changes the melody, again, is because it is the highest note in the progression. I know quite a few people in the stream aren't music makers. I'm aware of this. But, um, but for the people who are, music makers in the stream, try to take a little bit of that information and use it to your advantage when you're making music. The melody, or what will be perceived by the listener to be the melody, is usually the highest notes that you're using. So sometimes, if you want to slightly change what the listener is going to be hearing without changing the whole melody, just tack a higher note on top of it. For example, in the song that I was just playing, when I play the harmony of it, it hasn't actually changed the melody. You can still hear the melody hidden in there. But because the harmony is higher than it, now you're hearing a higher note. Da, 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 even though it's happening in tandem with. We're only hearing that melody so hard because the melody is happening higher than the original melody. That's the only reason it sounds different. If I were to play a melody that was, a harmony that was lower than this melody, then you would still continue to hear that as the lead melody because it's the highest thing being played on the piano. Because that's a harmony, I just said it there. If I, instead of going, if I went, this could be very, very boring and unuseful information. But I don't even know what this is. I don't know what this analogy is for like visual art necessarily because I am a musician at the end of the day. But that can be very useful. Something that I'm learning and constantly trying to implement now. I feel like for a lot of the beginning half of my career, I was trying to make things sound interesting and different. And I was working hard, not necessarily smart. When I wanted to make a chord progression sound fresh and new, I would come up with a fresh and new chord progression. Which is why when you listen to Bon Bon, I've established chords. I established a chord progression, but then once I get to the bridge, I could play a completely different chord progression. Another example of that would be my song Suspended in Love. That's the chord progression. That's the chord progression. Once I get to the bridge of that song, the chord progression turns into this. Which is very different from different chord progression. When I want to make something sound interesting or new, exciting, get the listener's attention again, add variation, add dynamics to a song, what I would always do is completely change the song, which is fun and good and fine, but it's a lot of extra work, and it's not always necessary because I'm essentially changing the geography of the song. Two different ways of getting the same thing done, kind of, but a way to work smarter instead of harder is if you're trying to change the feel of a song, the vibe of a song, you don't necessarily need to dump a new melody, new chord progression, new bass line, new drums, new percussion, new rhythm, new BPM. You don't necessarily need to do that all the time. A lot of time, thank you, Eddie. A lot of time in songs, there will be like halftime breaks. And that is when a song goes from full time to halftime. Not really going to explain too much of what that is. Just try to hang on to what I'm saying, and hopefully it'll make sense in the end. When making a song, you have a BPM. This BPM could be, let's say, 140. Now, if you cut 140 in half, it equals 70. If you're writing a song at 140 BPM, half time, it'll sound like it's 70 BPM, but it doesn't necessarily need to be. A really good example of this is thinking about two people that are walking next to each other at the same time. If some person's like 7 feet tall, they're probably taking one step for the same two steps as somebody that's roughly 5'5". Now, this doesn't mean that one person's walking faster than the other person. This just means that one person is doing a little bit more work to get the same exact speed as the other person. This can be accomplished in music. Now, if a tall person wanted to be, oh, this is going to get really weird. If a tall person wanted to remain at the same speed that they're walking, but they wanted to take more steps, they could take smaller steps, like how a short person would. And then they are able to take more steps. And they're probably conserving energy because they're still going the same speed. What I was doing in this analogy musically a lot of the time as a tall person, if I wanted to take more steps, I would just take more steps and then walk double the distance. I would take more steps that were just as big. So a lot of times in music, what a song will do when they want to change up the rhythm is they will go from full time, again taking large steps, to going half time, taking half as many steps, but still covering the same amount of distance. The steps are happening more frequently, and they're smaller, but still covering the same amount of distance. This is what happens in music a lot in rhythm. If I call attention to it and I like point out some examples for people that aren't familiar with this concept in a production stream, trust me, you will hear it so much. You will hear it in pop songs. You will hear it in hip-hop songs. You will hear it in EDM songs. You will hear it in rock songs. It happens a lot. Metal songs do this. Going from full-time to half-time. Now, that is a very, very good example of how you can change the identity or a feel of a song without changing the song. Those songs are not actually getting slower. They feel like they are, but the BPM is staying the same. All they're doing is arranging percussion in a way that makes the song feel slower, right? In the same way that I can go like this and this. I'm getting a different feel from those two chord progressions, but I'm not changing the chord progression, nor am I changing the speed or anything. All I'm doing is arranging the same notes in a way that gives the listener a different feel. Hopefully, the analogy or the example or the concept I'm talking about is connected with anybody in the stream. This is something that I have been challenging myself to do a lot more lately because, as somebody like me who loves chords, I love chords so much. I love surprising chords, right? I like when somebody's playing a chord progression and they set up an expectation of what the resolution of the chord progression is, and then they'll change it. Expectation. Expectation. Going somewhere else. I love chords for that reason. I love that they can contain dense and sometimes confusing harmony. Now, as somebody who likes chords that much, when I'm making music and I want things to be interesting, I always want to put in new chords, different chords. But this tool, or this lesson that I'm trying to teach myself now, is essentially making it so that I can have a song that is 6 chords dense and remain 6 chords dense the entire song, but still somehow at the 1 minute to 2 minute to 3 minute mark of the song gives the listener something new to hear, something new to listen to. Working smarter instead of harder. That's essentially what this is in music. Working smarter. If you want to get something new, work with what you already have. Don't go and get new things. Good example of this is Mexican food, right? How many different new things have we had in Mexican food? Tons. So many cool things, but probably not a lot of new ingredients. A lot of the base ingredients remain the same, especially for like American Mexican food. A lot of the basic ingredients remain the same, but the dishes are very, very diverse and varied. So try to take that analogy to your art if you are indeed an artist. Okay. Goodbye, Eddie. I hope you have a good time at the dentist. Yeah. Yeah, I hope you have a good time there. Listening to this, I just think of 9/8 somehow and how much it scared me when I first looked at it. This Chibi Lucy talking about time signatures. Yes, time signatures can be very intimidating, or at least that's what I feel. I'm not somebody that plays other people's music a lot, so I don't have a lot of experience with seeing a time signature on a piece of paper and then having to then recreate it. More so, time signatures were first doled out to and experienced by me. Sorry, the first time I experienced weird time signatures was probably in like jazz slash funk infused pop, not jazz, not funk. I want to make it clear that that was not the first time that I heard weird time signatures. I heard weird time signatures in pop and some rock songs, and not weird time signatures. What I want to say is maybe weird metering, like when the chorus came a little bit faster than I was expecting it to. You know when that happens? You know when there's like a verse and a chorus and there's another verse and the chorus just kind of comes in before you're ready for it. Like there's no pre-chorus or anything. What happens in music? There's probably a musical term for this, but I don't really have them. That was my first experience with like wonky time signatures or disrupted expectations in music. And then still didn't get into jazz. Listened to some Michael Jackson songs, which is pop, that have again not weird time signatures, but just like weird arrangements where I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that to come back so soon. Or like, wait, what part of the song is this section? A lot of stuff like that happening. And then math rock was introduced to me way later in my life. And I remember hearing math rock for the first time. And math rock was exciting to me just because I wasn't a musician yet, but a lot of early musicians that don't know they're musicians yet will do this thing where they'll listen to music and they'll edit it mentally. Edit it mentally, like adding harmonies where there aren't any harmonies, like humming a part that you think would go good in this section, or going like, oh, I wish this section was longer, or thinking, you edit it mentally. That's what a lot of early musicians who sometimes either haven't started making music or sometimes never start making music will experience. And that's what I was having. I would be listening to like a Fall Out Boy song or something like that, and I'm like, oh, I kind of know what's happening next. I kind of know where the chorus is coming in. And a lot of that has to do with my experience with active listening, and a lot of it also has to do with these songs are crafted to build and deliver on listeners' expectations, right? Think of a riser. I've talked about risers, and I've even created risers in the production stream. And a riser is basically just a ramping up of emotion or sonic information before the chorus, before a drop, or before some big climactic part of the song. This is done intentionally by the person who's making the song in order to set up and deliver expectations. There's a whole psychological thing in listening to music that people find music pleasing when their own expectations are being rewarded. It's really weird and narcissistic. I'm not going to dig too deep into it because I don't really care about psychology that much. But people generally like to be rewarded for their expectations. They like to be right a lot of the time. Being wrong doesn't feel good, while being wrong can be an acquired taste. And so listening to math rock, the thing that was so interesting about math rock is I felt like a lot of my expectations were either being built and subverted or weren't being built at all. I was just listening to this music and going like, what is happening? Like, where is the time signature? Where is the chorus? Is this the chorus? Is that the chorus? How do I know when the chorus is happening? When is the chorus supposed to come? A lot of stuff like that would happen. And while to a casual music listener, that stuff can be really upsetting, to the right person, and I don't mean like there's a right and wrong person, but to the person that math rock appeals to, this can be great. This can be exciting, being wrong. Mystery, curiosity can be exciting, being wrong. And when you listen to whoever it is you're listening to, whether it's Minus the Bear or Tricot or At the Drive-In or sequentially Mars Volta, there is a good feeling in learning that weird time signature or learning that weird confusing arrangement. Once you've heard it a few times, being able to know when things are happening feels good because it is complicated. There's almost like a weird challenging aspect for it. Think of like Dark Souls people, how like they like things being very difficult and then overcoming the difficulty of it. Learning a math rock song, whether you're learning how to play it on a guitar or whether you're just learning how to bob your head along to it, can sometimes feel good because it feels like you've overcome something. There's almost essentially a challenge built within this song. So that being said, after spending years and years with math rock, and then going back into like jazz and weirder bebop jazz, not like traditional jazz, not necessarily into like free jazz, you would feel and hear weird time signatures, and it would feel so good to get on them, to feel like in sync with them once you've learned them. Again, challenge, I guess, completed. Right, like Lindsay says, like decoding the chaos. And so I think these were like, that was like my gradual introduction, and then I guess dissemination into weird time signatures. And in my songs, in actually one of the only songs, if not the only song I have with a weird time signature is Suspended in Love. If you haven't heard Suspended in Love, I would appreciate it if you listened to it. But for those of you that have heard Suspended in Love, there are three sections of that song. There is section A, B, and C. And section B is a very, very common wonky time signature in math rock. But I did it in... Goodbye, Chibi Lucy. Thanks for being in the stream. Appreciate you. Yeah, we're getting ready to end up here anyway. Or it's almost 2:30. But Suspended in Love midsection is one of the only wonky time signatures I've actually ever made. What I would often do in like Nice Dream Love Dream, when it feels like the time signature gets weird in the bridges, the time signature continues to be 4/4. It is still regular. I'm just building weird on it. Like I'm coming in at weird times on a 4/4 time signature. So all that being said, it was a gradual exposure to weird time signatures, which a lot of people, it starts at jazz. With me, it actually ended at jazz. I was hearing a lot of jazz influenced stuff, like math rock, and then going back and hearing actual jazz, and then being able to find some inspiration in that. Okay, anyways. Why does he talk like that? Anyways, what was I saying? I lost it. Anyways, time signatures are weird. I love weird time signatures. They can be fun. I try to put them into my music when I can. Now, a wonky time signature, guys, isn't an extreme, what I'm going to call an extreme example of having interesting rhythm. And a very, very light example of having interesting rhythm is somebody going from full time to halftime. Going from full time to halftime, you haven't done anything that's that confusing, but the audience can sometimes feel a shift in rhythm. Now, having a weird time signature is an extreme example of that. It's great, but it can lose people. Sometimes you can lose people. And so what I've tried to do in my music is vary alterations in harmonic information that'll translate to the listener. Oh, something interesting has happened. This is different. Really, really small shifts to let the listener know, like, hey, we're going here, without completely losing them how I could in, say, like Love Letters. I'm trying to basically, and I say this so much, guys, that's probably going to be like the next 10 years of my music career, but I'm trying to practice restraint, practice discretion. When shifting things around, when trying to add notes, it doesn't need to be complicated just because it can. Sometimes you can pull back and actually have things be complicated without being alienating. And that is such a challenge, and I'm always very impressed with the people that are able to do it. I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with Louis Cole. Louis Cole's a really great producer, also a great songwriter. But he is very, very good at this. Louis Cole can just write a song. Louis Cole has a lot of like experience writing for pop artist, which is actually really funny. Definitely like if you can look at, I mean, I don't even remember if that was an interview or if that was just something that he said when I was around. I think he might have just said that when I was with him. Do you guys know who Louis Zong is? I'm getting off topic. Anyways, Louis Cole at some point in his life has said to people that he has written a lot of songs actually for pop acts, and those songs have gotten turned down because they were too much. If you've heard Louis Cole's arrangements and production outside of Nowhere, because he also produces for a thing called Nowhere, but like his own personal arrangements, they're like a lot. Sometimes they're really great and poppy, and you can like find the group. Sometimes they are just like, this man's wilding out because he went to school for music, and I think Louis Cole is really good now. Maybe he wasn't in the beginning when he was writing those songs for the pop stars, but he's really good now at taking all of that like Berkeley School of Music type information in his brain and dumbing it down and scaling it down in a very pop package where he can give this music to the layperson, and somebody will be like, "Huh, this is funny. It's a song about being in a blimp." And then he can also give it to people that are like jazz heads that'll go like, "Oh wow, that's a Coltrane change." And then he can give it to people that are like me, someplace in the middle, where I can go, "This song is very funny, and also this song is very complicated, and not something that I am skilled enough to actually be able to create." He's very good at like towing the line, and I think that towing of the line is such a constant struggle for me. It's a constant struggle for me because I am not somebody that went to a school of music. So on some level of my music creation, I always do feel like I need to prove to my peers that I do know what I'm doing. And so sometimes I will put maybe overcomplicated chords in something just so that people are reminded, hey, I can play piano if I want to, if I really wanted to. But I think that is kind of like a weird egotistical approach to art that is fine and everybody has it, but it's like something that I've been gradually trying to grow out of and just learn restraint. Because somebody can hear the song Groomscape. Somebody can hear that song and go like, oh, this is a very, very simple chord progression. Omni doesn't know what he's doing. I could write something more complicated than that. But I have to be okay with that. I would be okay with, hey, this is a beautiful chord progression that I can stand behind. I let it live on its own. It doesn't need to be so overwhelmingly complicated. And I think that's something, like if you listen to Louis Cole's song, like Things, he has a song called Things that is like the most nothing, like it's 4 chords. It has 4 chords in that song. It doesn't really go anywhere, but it's just a nice, well-made groove song, and we all know Louis Cole is capable of doing something way more complicated. But the fact that he scales it down and just uses that complicated knowledge and information to write something that's just nice and digestible is a talent and a skill on its own. Now I'm done, I guess, waxing about Louis Cole. He's good. Check him out if you don't know who he is. But time signatures, hold on. Lindsay says, time signatures is something I still know very little about. General concept like halftime I can understand, but the number stuff is confusing. Don't really worry about it. Even some of the weirder time signatures I've made, Lindsay, I don't actually know the fraction. Like, I don't know the number over number that it is. I just know that it's weird. There's a chord, not chord, there's a time signature that I really like that, it's a song Blue Rondo a la Turk by Dave Brubeck. He had a song that goes, I don't know what that time signature is. I don't know what the numbers for it is, but it's a beautiful song and I love that song. Or even the song, crap. What is that one? That's an Omni Boy song. Wait. Yeah, what the heck? this, I think. Oh, it is. Wait. It's the same. It's the same. Anyways, did he go to Europe? He did go to Europe. Louis Zong, right? Yeah, Louis Zong. Alpha. Louis Zong, indeed. Probably 6'8". Maybe it is 3'7". I don't know. People are just throwing out numbers. That's really cool. I'm glad that people know time signatures. All I'm saying is I don't. And you can still write complicated time signatures without knowing them. Just, I mean, out of I mean, a cheap but very easy, fun way to make a weird time signature is simply to make the ending of it a little bit longer or a little bit shorter, so that it's not even anymore. Make the next measure start early and interrupt the thing you're playing, or add a weird little like ending bit to it. There's been times where I've done weird time signatures simply because I was improving and didn't want to get back into what I was doing. Didn't want to restart the like. Just adding like weird like extra things on something. I'm done talking about time signatures, I guess, for now. But the reason that I brought up Louis Zong is because when I was talking to Louis Cole, Louis Zong was there. We were like in Little Tokyo. It was at Louis Cole's show. I love Louis Zong, and I feel like I've let him down. I'm sure if you asked him, like if you went up to Louis and were like, do you feel like, are you disappointed in Omni? He'd probably say no. He'd be like, no, Omni's great, but I feel like I've let him down. I feel like he's just too nice to tell me. Because I kind of fell off the face of the earth when a lot of people like wanted me to do stuff. I like left Twitter when a lot of people were like, hey, anyways, I gotta hit him up at some point. I think my bad thing is like not hitting up somebody for long enough that I just like it feels like it would be weird to do it, and so I just never do. Louis made some songs for Cartoon Network. Yeah, Louis was there. Louis worked on a lot of things. Louis also was on We Bare Bears. So yeah, not like on the show as a character, but like on on the team, working for the studio to make the show. Louis is great. I'll support anything that Louis does. What a great one. Also, my friend Gladys now is working on a different show. They were the storyboard artists for the new Digit Turtles, but now they're working on something else. And man, that's so weird, right? It's like, shouts out to my friends. I've got some friends that are doing some pretty cool things right now. Ivy and Sarasu are always doing cool stuff. Okay, Zephyr, welcome to the final moments of the stream. We are going to be trudging our way to news very, very shortly. What would be a very ridiculous reason to be disappointed with someone? Oh, that would be a ridiculous reason to be disappointed with someone. No, I'm maintaining some reason. I guess some reason in the situation where it's like there have been times. I'm not gonna say any names, but there have been times where people have just been very unreliable to me. Like I've needed a project or I've needed art. Like it's just like, oh, this person is doing art for my EP that comes out in a month, and I tell them like the deadline, and I give them 2 months, a month to 2 months of advance notice, and they'll still like drop the ball or not respond, or they left social media, so now I gotta text them, and it's just like now I'm pushing back my release date. I'm like, hey, can I get this thing? And then I know what that's like on both ends, and so when I'm the person that's being hounded down, I do feel really guilty. And when I'm the person that's doing the hounding, I also feel guilty. I don't know. It's weird. Zephyr says I feel bad that I missed the movie thing. I had work. How was it? It was fine. Zephyr, thank you for asking. But I hope work was okay for you. Um, yeah, it's the same. It's the same all the way to the top. You know, you keep expecting it to be different. Oh, people don't even know what I'm talking about. I had half of that conversation inside my own head. Sorry, Zephyr and company. Um, I feel like as a kid, like a little like ankle biter just running around, shooting people with water guns, getting harassed by the police, just kid stuff. I remember like uh, in that time in my life, like living in the apartment complex that we did, I remember thinking, wow, like everything is so stupid for kids. Um, I can't wait to be an adult. I can't wait to be an adult where I can like have my own money. I can leave whenever I want. I can come home whenever I want. People won't be fighting over really petty, stupid stuff. There won't be like cliques and groups of friends because people will have more important things to worry about. And then, I got to junior high and people were still acting the same way. Then I got to high school, same thing. Got to college, same thing. Got out of college, joined the workforce, same thing. Moved out here to LA playing shows, same thing. Joined a music career in the industry, same thing. And I was like, I think it is just like this forever, actually. Um, I think it's just like this forever. I'm looking at like politics. This is not a political stream, so I'm not going to talk about politics. But like, even on a political level, like, which is way above whatever the heck I'm doing, it's still like that. And I don't know whether I'm relieved or disappointed. Where it's like, oh, it just never changes. Like, nothing ever changes in that regard. And so, yeah. And so, in the same way that, like, if I didn't sit at the lunch table with my friends for like a month because I just like didn't feel like it, and then I showed back up, they were like kind of like annoyed and like, ugh, what do you want? Like, what happened to you, man? I feel like the same thing happens now with like adults with Twitter, where it's like if I leave Twitter or if I haven't like posted a video, when I do come back, people are like, you want? I'm supposed to be expected to book you for a show, man. I book you a tour, like you disappeared when the world needed you the most. You gotta surround yourself with people you can rely on, people who won't do that. Yeah, okay. Um, Again, it's different if you're promised that so. It's a little different. I think you guys are talking about friends, and I'm talking about a work, like a workspace, a career space, right? Um, I think I think that's good, Cyber, that your best friends are folks that you can reconnect with no matter how long time has passed. But I'm not talking about my best friends. I'm talking about a man who moved to a city where they didn't know anybody, and so all of their friends are industry people. Like even Louis Zong, love Louis Zong to death. Me and Louis Zong aren't friends because we ran into each other in a GameStop and hit it off about like Kingdom Hearts. We're friends because Louis Zong was working on a popular cartoon, and I was um, in a similar position. Oh, wow! I've actually known Louis for a pretty long time now. Louis used to ride his bike everywhere. Yeah, 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 yeah. Anyways, yeah, it's all like work stuff. Um, I want to make it very clear, like, even like the friends that I have out here, and this isn't to be mean to those people, but these are work people, right? When you see like Sky come into a stream, you know, like Sky's not just like some rando. Sky's also like a career musician who makes her money in the music industry. When you see like Abby Press come in, like me and Abby Press know each other because I used to tour to New York, and Abby was a DJ in New York City, like also like a work person. Like these are there is a difference, and so I do appreciate people that are just like Omni. Like you got to surround yourself with good people. You're surrounding yourself with the wrong people, and it's like it's a work thing. It's a work thing. I also did not grow up here. I did not grow up in Los Angeles, but you guys know that. I moved to a city for work, and then everybody that I did end up hanging out with was work related because that's how networking happens. You guys know how the industry works. Anyways, the point that I'm making is Yeah, things like that don't change. And in the same way that when you're going to a high school, you do get to pick your friends, but kind of out of a bucket of kids. Like you can't like walk over to another high school and go like, what are the people over here like? So if you happen to go to a high school with a lot of rich kids, you're probably going to have a lot of wealthy friends, assuming you hit it off with anybody at the school. And if you go to a high school with a lot of white kids, you're probably going to end up with a lot of white friends. If you're in LA as a musician, in every event and social event you go to is somehow tangentially connected to the music industry, a lot of your quote unquote friends are going to be music industry people. It's 3 a.m., so as Alaska is leaving the stream, I'm surprised you stayed up this late, Alaska, especially with no music. It's a lot of boring talk. But I appreciate you for coming into the stream. Hope you have a good night's rest, Alaska. Hoping you get any. Okay, yeah. The smoothie's toast. The smoothie's toast. I wasn't gonna finish the smoothie actually because a piece of the blender came out into the top of the smoothie, so I was never gonna finish the smoothie. A little bit of I guess a peek behind the veil. I didn't let it sit there on accident or something like that. Oh, for sure. I wasn't talking about you guys, Lindsay. I was more so just saying that I think there is this kind of common, very, what's the word? Misconception is not the right word. I think there's a common expression? Expression? Like if somebody says, I want a prettier word than expression. There's a common consideration. Ooh, okay, all right. Some alliteration also. There's a common consideration. Thanks, Isidora. There's a common consideration for people, especially now, where everybody is kind of like, "Yo, take care of you, baby. You're what needs taken care of," and I love it. I'm a big fan of this new wave we've got, and I think a lot of people will say things like, um, if you've got bad people around you, just surround yourself with good people. Or they'll say like, if you don't want to post on social media, just don't do it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, baby. And I do appreciate all of those sentiments because they come from a good place. And I think if this was like 30 or so years ago, I think nobody would say that. I think if you like told your boss, I mean, some bosses still today, you told your boss like, hey, I'm not feeling well, like things have been really hard lately. They'll be like, well, that's too bad. I guess grieve on your day off. Yeah, I don't know. You got a job to do. And I think a lot of people now are a little bit more sensitive to things like that, where they're like, hey, if something's not good for you or it's bad, then find a way to make yourself a priority, which is again a very very good sentiment and consideration. But I think that a lot of times people are suspending realism to a slight degree, and I guess in favor of their humanity. Like somebody saying, you should eat healthy, it's better for your body, without actually taking like consideration of like what this person's income is, where this person lives, what they're actually allowed to and able to do, and what they can afford. Sometimes, while well-meaning, can be like misinformed. And so I think if somebody was like, if like social media is really bad for you, just like don't be on it. That gotta take care of you. But if this person's like social media is like a big reason why they're able to pay their rent, or it's a big reason why their career exists, it is like a misinformed bit of advice. And so I think this kind of comes from a lot. This comes from a lot of big city talk. I think a lot of people have like, oh my god, okay, so this is actually really, really relevant because my TV gets a channel that plays nothing but Degrassi non-stop. Like it plays all 385, yes, I know how many episodes of Degrassi there are. It plays all 385 episodes of Degrassi, and then it just starts over at episode 1. And in like the first or second episode, one of the characters comes back from Los Angeles, and she's got like a fiance, boyfriend, or whatever, and he is just the biggest caricature of Los Angeles. He has sunglasses, he has like a flip phone, he's always on it talking about, I don't know, talent agencies and movie roles and big, large, like almost comedic amounts of money, and he's very selfish. He doesn't care about any other characters. He's basically a villain, but he is Los Angeles turned into a human man. And I think that a lot of the negative connotation that LA and New York and just in any big city, Paris, whatever, gets, is because there's a lot of bad or sleazy or fake people there. And sure, there's sleazy people in every city, but I think something very unique about bigger cities is that there is a certain amount of like humanity suspension. Yo, I gotta like write down some of these terms. Hold on. Humanity suspension's hilarious. There's a lot of humanity suspension. Is that a thing? Hold on. I just want to make sure this isn't a thing. It isn't. That's cool. Okay, so there's a lot of humanity suspension that happens in big cities where people are like, they do care about each other, genuinely do, but they know that a lot of that care has to be like kind of suspended if they need to get through the day, right? Like if every single time you see a homeless person on the side of the road, if you like bent over and were just like, hey man, like what's going on? Can I get you anything? Like you need some food or something like that? Or like, oh, here's $5 or something like that. If you did that in LA for every single homeless person you saw, you would not be able to afford your rent, and you would be evicted, because Jesus, that that would get so expensive so fast. So a lot of people, even though they do genuinely care about the people around them, kind of just have like tunnel vision for whatever they need to get done, and they're not stopping and helping each other all the time. And I think that if you move to a city in which this is kind of the social environment, um, surrounding yourself with good, genuine people who are invested in you and your well-being, especially in a workspace, just isn't always realistic. Some people do definitely have that. I have some friends that are like, I moved to San Francisco, baby, 5 years ago, and I have a tech job. I make six figures, and I work for, I don't know, Airbnb, and life's good. My coworkers and us, we have like a game night, and my boss always invites me to their apartment, and we have cheese and wine, and they know my kids, and we all call them Uncle Cat. Like, I know that that's some people's experience. I'm just saying that that's not my experience in the music industry. And even though I love a lot of the people that I have to work shoulder to shoulder with, I know that, you know, push come to shove, people are going to push and shove, if that makes sense. And it just so happens to be that a lot of my closer friends in the music industry happen to be people that are not exactly in my lane. Like me and Ehi are super close because we're so like, I'm like scoring things. Ehi is like doing Ehi things, and so like we can be very very close and interlocked because there is no competition and there is no like weirdness there. But there are some people in the industry that have been either in the same lane as me at one point or another, or close to it, and it's a very different. It's a different mood. It's a different atmosphere. And that doesn't mean either person is bad. It's just, you know, the industry kind of pits you against people a lot of times. Oh, I didn't mean to bum you out, Lindsay. I wasn't trying to make anybody sad with the whole feeling like a disappointment thing. It's okay. It's okay. A lot of people live with... I think she's howling again. Oh, sorry, what was I saying? Yeah, he's the perfect example of someone you can work with and not get the weird clashes you keep describing. Yeah. He's cool. However, me and Ehi are not. We're not like. Ehi does live on the opposite coast. Ehi lives in New Jersey, and yeah, it's whatever. I think things are just weird because Rona keeps hitting us. Things were weird before Rona. I would say that things have been like weird since, for me, 2014. The only difference is now I can't get on the subway and ride around like I want to. Now I'm like more so home all the time. But what was that noise? Says crowd. It's a little girl that lives next door. She's like calling one of her friends. They like howl at each other. Did I talk about zombies in the stream? They're doing it because of the zombies movie. It's a long story. I really don't want to get into it, but they like open the windows and they howl at each other to communicate. Sometimes I really wish social networks doesn't exist, but there's good stuff on them too. Oh, for sure. I'm grateful that social networks. If social networks didn't exist, like if SoundCloud didn't exist, which was quite a large one, I probably wouldn't be here specifically. I don't know where I'd be. Probably someplace good, but not here, and I like it here. So the social networks are very very good. But I think that there is a very very specific, and I've talked to Abby about this. Me and Abby are pretty close. Aren't we? Yeah, we're pretty close. Weird, right? Not obvious friends. I feel like if somebody was picking an obvious friend for me, it would be, wow, I actually don't know. Anyways, me and Abby wouldn't be obvious friends, but we are. And me and Abby had like a very, very good talk about like, there is a very, unrelatable, but unrelatable to people that obviously haven't lived through it. Almost like trying to explain. It would be like a woman trying to explain to me like what being in like uh, male ran spaces are. Like where there's like a bunch of dudes around, a bunch of like big bro dudes. It's like I get it on paper, but I don't really like. I don't really get it. You know, I can get it as much as I possibly as a dude can get that. And I think there's a very singular experience of like having a home. I had a home. I built a home. Having a home, and then leaving that home to go into a specifically workspace. Like leaving that home, moving away from your friends, family, jobs, school, whatever it is you built your life for, leaving that home and now being surrounded by people that are doing the same thing you're doing, and you guys are kind of in competition with each other. It is a weird thing because you do become very friendly with you know, your coworkers are with your um, co-patriots, whatever you want to call them. You become pretty close with these people, but there always is this professional undertone of everything that happens, and sometimes it does make you feel like kind of gross. Um, but it is a thing. There is like this thing that's happening all the time, and I think there is a lot of people. Well, the same people that are like will preach the things where it's like, hey, there's room for all of us, guys. Like we can all thrive together. It's a very very nice sentiment, but it's just not true. We can't all thrive together. I'm talking specifically about the music industry. Maybe on the planet Earth, sure, we can all like get food. There's enough food for all of us. But I'm just saying, as far as like the music industry, there are limited seats. It's like musical chairs. There are seats, and there are more people than chairs. And so eventually, you know, the music stops and everybody's got a seat, and you're kind of just standing there, and you have to leave. That's just gonna happen a lot. And so it's weird because those people are your friends. So after that happens, you have to kind of just compartmentalize the professional part of your brain and the emotional human part of your brain and go like, these are still my friends, even though like I'm actually like maybe not getting this opportunity because of them. It's weird. It's weird. And it's a thing that like I've talked to Abby about, and Sky, who also moved out here for very similar reasons. Like talked to them about at length. And it's a very unique position because those are your friends, but they're also trying to do the same thing you're doing. I like your joke, Cyber. Did I press Abby on those questions? Abby has a very specific experience that I have not had, which I don't know that I would be able to handle as gracefully as Abby has handled it in the music industry. Also, vice versa. It's unfortunate that I can't specifically bring up like the examples that I'm talking about in my own life of like what I've done or what's happened, but like there have been some very very rough situations where I've said, you know, this sucks, and you know, there's nothing I can do, and then somebody that wasn't necessarily in that position said, well, like, that sounds horrible. Why would somebody do that? You need better people. You know, you gotta get better folks. And it's just like, that's not, you know, it's not bad and good people or better and worse people. It's just, it's what happens, man. Circle of life, right? Kuna Matata. It's every social space has its cycle. Anywho, Lindsay says also you don't bum me out. Oh, well, that's good. I just know a lot of people let their productivity impact their self-worth, and I wish that wasn't the case. Well, yeah, we're not going to talk about why that is, even though we kind of know why that is. Why that affects people to that degree. It's the same in the tattoo world, says Isidora. Yeah. Yeah, I believe that. I believe that a lot. That's cool. Yeah, it's weird, right? It's beautiful in a way. There are a lot of people. Who's somebody that I feel like I can say? I feel like I can say their name because we're cool and it's great. Bum, 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 bum. Hmm. weird and sad that they aired you and everything. Yeah, it's sad. Who's somebody that I'm cool with? That that coolness has been challenged. Ooh. I don't want to mention him though. Boo 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 boo. Oh, Ujiko actually. Ujiko's oh my god, why didn't I think of him sooner? Ujiko, if anybody doesn't know who Ujiko or Snail's House is in the stream, me and Ujiko have had a really weird relationship where I like Ujiko now, like we're friends, but we have had like several times where like I feel okay saying it now because like we're cool now, but like we like legit hated each other. and, like, and it sucked. Like there have been times where like oh man, I don't want this. Nobody run that Ujiko with this. Like this is whatever. This can be, and I'm just gonna for now on refer to this person in this conversation to him, and he. But like, there have been times where me and him have like actively kind of screwed each other out of a position, not because we didn't like the other person, but just because like rent's due in a week and I need this opportunity and I need to pay my rent. Like, and it kind of turns into this dog eat dog thing where it's like, no offense to the other guy, but I'm hungry, And so we did that a lot from like 2016, 17, 15, 16, and 17, we were doing that a lot to each other. And it became this thing where, like, if I was out at a show and somebody was like, oh, this kind of sounds like Snail's House, there was in the back of my head this little, like, screw that guy, though. And it was the same emotion on the other side, too, where it was like, when I finally got my 2018 tour to go out to Japan, and I was with the person that was running the club, and they were like, oh, sick, Ujiko's gonna come out. There was, in my head, there was like a why, though? Like, I don't really want to be around that dude. And when he came, it was kind of weird and tense. It was really funny because my friend who was like a weird, like he runs a label out there called Trekkie Treks. We've been friends for a really long time because he was a foreign exchange student in California. He was there, and he was like, basically the only two people at the table who could speak English properly was me and Ujiko. Ujiko speaks English with kind of like like an Australian accent, and I speak, the American English that you guys are hearing now. And everybody else at the table spoke Japanese. And so we would speak Japanese to our friends at the table, but then every single time somebody would try to push us into having a conversation with each other, it was this really tense, like, passive-aggressive comments, like, happening in English that nobody else at the table was picking up on because nobody else at the table could speak English. And so it was this really, really weird thing. And afterwards, me and him just like kind of got to talk and like brought up some stuff that was like that we obviously weren't talking about. Anyways, we had a conversation. It was cool. We're cool now. And now whenever anybody mentions him, I feel cool and like open to talk about him. But I think what a lot of people outside of like a competitive art industry don't really understand is like those aren't bad people. Like, Ujiko's not a bad person. I'm not a bad person. Like, nobody's bad. And so it's not like I'm surrounded by bad people and, like, I need to surround myself with good people. I need to get good friends. It's just that, people want to succeed. And, like, we all can't, unfortunately. We all can't at the same time. There's, like, still some positions now that I look at. Like, positions either it was, like, somebody that's scoring a video game or scoring a TV show or playing on a tour that I was like, yeah, I was, like, supposed to do that. Like, I was in talks with doing it, and I was this close, and then, I didn't get it. Either for, like, good ethical reasons or for not so ethical reasons. And then, like, it's hard to, like, meet up with that person and, like, clap them up later that day because it really is nothing to do with, like, your guys' personal relationship. It's just hard not to let professional stuff, deal with your personal stuff. And on top of that, you have algorithms and all this other stuff. So it's like, if I take a break away from social media and I come back, one, I'm probably going to be hidden from a lot of people to begin with. And two, there's a lot of people that have been active and like working throughout this pretty horrible time to be working that'll view me as like, well, like I've been gone, like I've been gone. There's so many people making beat videos now. I don't know if you guys have noticed it on Twitter, and I'm talking about before I even left. Before I left, like beat videos like blew up in like late 2019, 2020. Now there's just like everybody and their mom has like the video of them like around a keyboard like doing like making beats all on like one like Casio Yamaha keyboard. Everybody has that video now. And so it's like in my absence since I've been gone, there's like people that were like not even in the conversation like 6 months ago that are now like getting to produce for I almost said a name. Anyways, now they're getting to produce for like dope people that I had relationships with, and it's kind of just like, okay, so now if I come back as like a relic, not only will the algorithm end up hiding me, but people will look at me like, oh, it's just him. Like we got like new people in here now. It's musical chairs, baby. And at the end of the day, it is musical chairs, and so it's not like surrounding yourself with good people. It's just it's a space. It's a competitive space to be in. What a long. I didn't even want to talk about this, but I just felt like when I said I feel like I'm a disappointment, maybe I needed to expound on that more because it bummed Lindsay out, and I think maybe some people on the stream didn't really know what I meant. But yeah, when I said like I made up with Ujiko is like one person that I happened to be at dinner with on my tour, surrounded by friends, and I was like in good spirits, and so I was maybe in the right emotional mental space to like do that with him. Him being the same way. Ujiko does a, for example, there's a idol group in Japan named Happy Kudu Kudu. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Don't look it up. There's a Japanese like idol pop group that I've produced for. And also Ujiko has produced for them. And there was this really weird thing where we were going back and forth producing songs for these people, and some things happened that don't need to be talked about in this stream, but some things happened, and then Ujiko ended up being their main producer, and I was no longer producing for them at all anymore. And it was like, Ujiko is one person that this happened with, but that has happened with a lot of people. And I'm not even always on like the losing side of it. Sometimes I get like a sick dub, and there is a person that was like, dang, I was supposed to be on that Slow Magic tour. Like, dang, that was supposed to be my show. Or, dang, I was supposed to be the composer for that. And they're people that I am friends with, unfortunately. And then, like, in a week, we're going to go get pizza or something like that, and we're going to have to look at each other and just kind of have to be okay with that. And 8 times out of 10, maybe 7 if I'm being fair, maybe 7 times out of 10, the people aren't really okay with it. They just say they are, and they're like, no, it's cool, man, I'm happy for you, bro. But, like, deep in your heart, you're like, that sucks, actually. So, yeah, I want to say that, kind of shoot bail to some of the people. Like, they're not bad people. Some of them are, but most of the people I'm talking about aren't bad people. They're just, we're in a workspace right now. And in the same way that, like, if you're working and somebody takes, like, a break for a really long time and then shows back up, sometimes it's cool, but a lot of times it's not. We have gone over 3. I was supposed to end at 2:30 as I usually do, but we've gone 3. I have 2 big releases out. They're a year old now. So if you want to hear what a younger Omni sounds like, go listen to Ego Death and Quick Breath. They're available on Bandcamp, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Google Play, Amazon MP3, Tidal, Groove, Deezer, Pandora, Napster, and YouTube. We're on YouTube now, where I have a lot of videos if you ever want to listen to them. Thank you, Kiwi, for saying I'm good people. I appreciate you saying that. Sorry I didn't say so earlier. Also, there's no news about tours or merch or anything. I'm still chilling. I'm still here, just chilling. And you guys know what that entails now that we've had like a 30-minute discussion on it. But as far as a movie, we're in August right now. It's August 17th. I feel comfortable saying we had a movie at 200. Let me open up a calendar really quick. Sorry for bumming you out, Cyber, if you indeed weren't joking and I was actually bumming you out. I didn't mean to. Oh my god, how is Rent already due in 2 weeks? What happened? Anyways, it's the 17th. I feel... This is so funny. I'm not gonna make a decision now. I'm not gonna make a decision now, but it's like there's one more. I mean, definitely not this week. There's no movie. There's no pizza party this week. Um, but possibly like September next month, like early September. At the earliest, the last Friday of. Sorry, I thought I was getting a nosebleed. At the earliest, I would say like the 28th or whatever Friday is next, the last Friday of this month. Um, at the earliest. At the latest, the first Friday of September. Um, Easy Door, I appreciate you so much for putting an alarm. Please don't feel obligated to come to the movie night in the middle of the night. Please don't feel obligated to do that. Um, but I appreciate you so much for even trying. Um, but I think I'm gonna get a nosebleed, guys. I feel it. You know how you can like smell iron before you get a nosebleed? You can like smell the blood. Okay, I'll try to come up with good crappy movie suggestions. Sorry about that. Okay, alright, well, guys, it's so hot in here. It's not that bad. You're being a baby. It's just humid. It's not that hot. It's only like 90 something, but I think because of the humidity, and humidity just isn't something that LA gets a lot, it's like doing something to me. Anyways, um, what was I saying? Thank you everybody for being a part of the movie stream. I'm glad that it was able to happen. I think for anybody that isn't in the streams too often, which I mean I don't know why I'm saying that now. Everybody that's still here has been here pretty often, but anybody who's been in the streams know that I try to keep things orderly. I like to have. I will not do things if I think that I can, but they will be messy. So I'd rather do things orderly, which is why I do like the whole 5, streams a week. Why I have the production stream happening every Friday, and I'll even skip a stream just to get that orderly, everything showing up organized. I will do something to organize the not only the frequency of the pizza party, but also the post pizza party discussion. If there is going to be a discussion, if the discussion is going to be chaos or not orderly, I'm completely fine with that happening. I just won't be in it. I'll even like leave the thing open so you guys can have your thing. I'll like go and do something else. But oh crap! Wow, Isadora really has done it. Isadora has done the impossible. Um. So all right. I'll organize when the next one happens. But thank you everybody for allowing that to be a good thing. Just like the streams. Thank you everybody for being um, respectful and polite to each other, even in the movie thing, because it's a lot of people and it's a lot of talking, and I can see an argument breaking out really, really easily in the in the pizza party. Oh, was there a moment, Lindsay, in the chat or in the discussion? Oh, I'm sorry, Lindsay. I hope I didn't do anything. Hmm. Well, I'll try to be more mindful and make sure that nobody says anything. It's hard for me sometimes to even monitor the chat. It's hard for me to monitor the chat in the morning medley. It becomes nearly impossible when I'm trying to watch a movie. Whoa, that was weird. Sorry. will say that Cyber. Here's the thing, Cyber. Here's the thing, Cyber. I mean, yeah, but also it's completely fine because I think that hmm, it's fine. It's fine. I can't explain why it's fine, but it's fine. But what I'll say is, I used to stream, right? We've talked about the Periscope streams a lot. The Periscope stream. The reason the Periscope stream was so chaotic is because I had very little control um, over it. It was on Twitter, and so a lot of people just scrolling through Twitter would enter the stream with no dedication or commitment to the stream, just say stuff and then leave. Um, the interesting thing about YouTube is that you can't just you can't really just be like messing around the internet and then like fall into my morning medleys like you could my Periscope streams. You kind of have to know when they're happening. You have to be already on YouTube, and so that's why the attendance is so regular. Like we're seeing a lot of the same people because people know when it's happening. Random Omniboy fans don't really spill into this too much. Now, if this were not just you guys, if it was not just you guys, I don't know that I would necessarily trust everybody even be able to make comments. Because if you guys have actually looked at like my YouTube comments, they're not always the greatest. But I realize you guys are not my children, and so I do have to put a lot of trust in you guys that you'll keep the space the space. I can do as much as I possibly can by guiding in a specific way, right? Like, I don't do anything really ludicrous or rude in the stream, so then maybe it makes other people feel a little bit more guilty for doing those things. Whoa! Mia Gladstone just texted me. Mia's in California. Huh. What's Mia doing in California? Sorry, I was talking, Anyways, I try to keep the space nice, but I know that, like, a lot of that is kind of like a contract that we have, right? Like an unspoken contract where it's like, hey, I'm not going to be mean to you guys, and you guys are not going to be mean to each other, hopefully. If, like, somebody comes into the stream, even if they're, like, kind of, like, capricious? Wow. Haven't used that word in the stream. If somebody comes in, like, the way, like, sometimes the energy that, like, Gabriel has come in the stream with, I know that if I took a more aggressive and maybe cruel stance with Gabriel, it would encourage other people to do the same thing. So I don't. And so in the movie, I'm being very careful. But there is a lot of trust. I have to trust the people of the stream. And I know that there are some people, because you can tell. I mean, my temperament is pretty obvious, even within the stream, with how little you guys get to see. Isadora is somebody whose temperament is very clear. Even if she was tailoring her personality to be a specific way in the stream, we kind of get it. We get how Cyber is. We get how Lindsay is. We kind of get how Gabriel is. We understand how the people of the stream are. We know how Maddie is. We get the personality there. But there are some people that I will say, even in the stream, I understand they are more wild than me, and maybe if let to go about their devices and their habits unmitigated, maybe the stream takes on a more chaotic, maybe even offensive character. That doesn't mean I don't like these people. It's just, we're all different. And so I try to steer the ship to calmer waters as much as I possibly can. But yeah, if something bad happens or somebody says something bad or offensive, I do apologize. I am trying, I'm trying. It's a wireless space, right? I don't want to make it exclusive, but I also don't want to make it a freaking zoo. So I'm sorry that happened, Lindsay. Try to, I guess, monitor the stream more. Also, because I start the things, because I start the pizza party, I can, kick and ban people. And I will. I will if I have to. Just be chill, guys. Just respect each other. Yo, something bit me. It's happening. There's a mosquito in here. The fight has begun. Alright, everybody. That was a weird, long, muddy version of Hush Hour. I wasn't even really paying attention when I played it. But I hope you enjoyed it. Hush Hour does mark the end of the stream. Please, guys, enjoy your Monday. I'm probably not. I'm only leaving my house to get food. And I did get a parking ticket yesterday, ironically, in my own neighborhood. I just fell asleep and forgot to move my car. So I'm going to go to City Hall and pay my parking ticket. Oh my god. I'm going to get food, and then I think I'm just going to, curl up in my room and work. I'm just going to work because this is the only room in my apartment that has, one of those wall coolers, which is what some of you were hearing at the beginning of the stream. I have a little AC unit in the wall in the room, but the rest of the house does not have it, so I will probably be in here for the majority of the day, working and playing catch up, since this weekend I didn't really do anything. Yeah, we did 3.5 today. I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you for the good luck wishes. Appreciate everybody in the stream. Appreciate you guys a lot. Hope you guys enjoy your Monday, and I will see you back here on Tuesday. Trash day. Ugh, hot and garbage smell. Tomorrow's stream is going to be wild. I'll see you guys here on Tuesday for Morning Medley number 202, which is the name of a highway in Arizona. Hello, everybody.